Pikmin 4 is only a few weeks away. I figured in order to prepare for the release, let's take a look back at the game that started the series 21 years ago. That is a cursed thing to say. The game begins with Olimar crashing onto an unknown planet. Actually, scratch that. It's just a post-apocalyptic Earth of some sort. Somehow, despite his ship being absolutely torn apart, he's perfectly fine and stumbles upon the titular characters known as Pikmin. Using these helpers, Olimar sets out to recover 30 ship parts in order to escape the planet. Also, ignore the fact that my game is a little bit too zoomed in. I'll fix it later. Since I am playing on the Wii version of the game, it allows me to have completely free control of the whistle. And let me tell you, they did not design the game with this in mind. Because about a minute later, I wound up throwing my Pikmin in a place that was impossible to get to at this point in the game. Good thing you don't need all of them to get the first ship part, which miraculously happens to be the one thing that is needed to get the SS Dolphin flying. The next day, Olimar arrives at the Forest of Hope. It's here where I start to realize that I haven't played this game in a few years, and forgot just how clunky it is compared to the other games. Not clunky in that the controls are bad or unresponsive, the Pikmin themselves are unresponsive. Which, to be fair, makes sense lore-wise considering this is the first time Olimar is guiding the Pikmin. As a matter of fact, each subsequent Pikmin game actually sees the Pikmin getting progressively smarter and more tactical, but that's a topic for another time. I spent the second day mostly just growing the Pikmin population and also discovering the second type of Pikmin, the Yellows. Due to their big ears, they are able to be thrown significantly higher than other Pikmin. And also they can carry bombs because... yeah, I got nothing. Now, either I am slow, or the days go by a lot faster than I remember, because I wasn't even able to grab these parts, which I swear I usually always got on the second day. It doesn't matter too much as I simply came back the next day and quickly picked them up. Honestly, this game isn't exactly too difficult. Most enemies can simply be swarmed by Pikmin and killed before they can even Why did 15 Pikmin just get erased from existence? Can we rewind that footage? Did these just get crushed out of existence? I thought this was just a weird bug that would only happen once. Let's just say I was in for an experience. With a total of 6 parts collected, we were able to go to the next area, the Forest Naval. I don't know. What I consider to be the best area in the entire Pikmin series. What makes the area unique is that every other area is about overcoming obstacles to reach new areas. In this area, almost everything is open from the start, and overcoming obstacles simply creates new pathways back to where you started, meaning you can pretty much go anywhere the moment you land. But there's pretty much one place that you have to go to first, the blue Pikmin, who have gills, which I always thought was just a mouth, though. Wait, why do why do Pikmin even need gills to breathe if they don't have mouths? How do they even breathe? Anyway, it's here where the power of the Wii Remote becomes more apparent, as this part, which would usually require you to smack that stick, can simply be grabbed by throwing yellows. There are a lot of interesting things in this area, but I spend most of the day just breaking down the 200 stone walls that lead back to base, which my Pikmin seem to ignore completely. Well, with all Pikmin types acquired, I quickly head back to the impact site to grab the last part that was behind the stone wall. This area basically just turns into a Pikmin producing factory, as it is littered with pellets and pearls, which give a hefty sum of Pikmin. As such, I spend most of the day gathering as much Pikmin as possible, and trust me, this was the best thing I ever decided to do. Heading back into the Forest of Hope, I first head up to one of the bosses who requires you to throw a Pikmin into its hole. This exposes its back and allows you to throw your Pikmin onto it, if you're able to aim them with the Wii Remote, that is. I take the rest of the red Pikmin, which are actually the best fighters compared to the other two, to another boss, the Burrowing Snagret. Up until this point in the game, I was trying to be extremely protective of my Pikmin. That quickly changed, and I lost a fair chunk defeating the 2 of them. Only there weren't 2 of them! Wait, there's a 3rd one?! Well, at least 21 Pikmin survived. Finally, we can head back to the Forest Naval. I figured that I wouldn't need yellows that much because of how much the Wii Remote breaks the game, so I only took out 15. Using them allows you to break home this wall leading to yet another boss, which I don't even bother dealing with on this day. Instead, I fight this mushroom who is able to brainwash your Pikmin with his fumes. While I was able to avoid that attack, he did snap 8 of my Pikmin out of existence, and it's at this point I noticed the pattern. Every time my Pikmin seemingly evaporates, it is when I use the charge attack. But don't worry, because I make no changes in my attack plans. The next day, and don't worry about the fact that I didn't manage to get that part back to the ship, I come back with a vengeance to complete this area before the sun goes down. First step, boss fight. Well, that went smoothly. There are only 2 parts remaining. both of which are found through this trail of fire at the cliffside. Not too much to mention aside from the fact that I wasn't able to grab this part at first, because I didn't bring any yellow Pikmin. Hey, remember when I said the remote bypasses a lot of the obstacles in this game? Not this one, apparently! Fortunately, I was able to recover the part just in time and make it to the penultimate area of the game, the distant spring. Take everything that made the previous area great. Done? Now take everything that made the previous areas a pain, and that gives you this area. I think everything about this area is designed to screw you over. There's also a lot of water, so I decided to first deal with those areas before anything else. Oh yeah, and see that giant egg? Don't worry about it. So long as you ignore it, then nothing will happen and everything will be fine. What the f- This enemy is one of the most deadly in the series. The trail that it leaves behind you instantly kills any Pikmin, and yeah, it didn't go so well. But hey, the item it dropped gives you 100 Pikmin in return, so overall it's a net win. The next day goes by without any sort of incident, which at this point is a surprise. Same for the next day for the most part, where utilizing a speedrun strat that I saw, was able to bypass an entire puzzle that required converting blue Pikmin into yellow Pikmin, then back into blue Pikmin. Not going to lie, I felt like a speedrunning god for about 2 seconds, because I then proceeded to lose half my Pikmin to a ball bear who was stuck on the part I had just grabbed. It only took one more day in order to grab the last few parts that I had missed. It once again went surprisingly well, aside from the beetle thing from earlier that refused to suck up my Pikmin into its hole. With 29 out of 30 parts collected, it's time to head to the final area, appropriately named the Final Trial. But I felt fairly confident in my ability to not kill all my Pikmin, so I instantly drowned 2 of them and nearly drowned all of my yellow Pikmin. This area is actually pretty cool, requiring you to utilize the unique abilities of all 3 Pikmin types. Once you finally make it across, you're rewarded with, well, we'll get to that in a second. Firstly, I head back behind the giant green ball in the ground to grab some bombs. It is time to greet the final boss of Pikmin, Emperor Bulblax. This absolute unit can eat up all your Pikmin with its disturbingly large tongue, and jump so high it goes off the screen. In order to beat it, you are meant to have yellow Pikmin throw bombs when it opens its mouth, but I think it actually is scientifically impossible, so I end up just leaving them to get eaten. And I may have gotten a little bit impatient. That actually almost blew out my freaking headphones. So, I entered that battle with 100 Pikmin and came out with a solid 14. After grabbing some more Pikmin to grab the final part of the ship, it finally came time to leave the planet. Olimar takes one last look back at the Pikmin who saved his life and realized that he also kind of saved theirs. I say kind of because I'm pretty sure all of the original Pikmin from the start are dead. We also see a plethora of Pikmin ships come up with colors that still to this day have never been seen, leading to some of the greatest troll videos that I used to believe in. The game ends with a montage that names all the species that were encountered on the planet. It also shows you some statistics of how well you did. And it was there that I saw, in the 830 Pikmin I had raised, 417 died. That's probably not that bad. Seriously though, this game was a lot more brutal than I remember. A lot of it comes down to the overall clunkiness of the Pikmin themselves, which to be fair can just be considered stupidity on their part. There was also a fact that a lot of them just gave into the void and despawned. If you enjoyed this video and want to see me do Pikmin 2, again, be sure to subscribe. Also check out this video. If this video gets 1 like, I will do